Bear with me today, guys. We are going back to the past. To Be Your Ex, episode 11. We start this episode right outside of a university. A young girl with white hair is going inside of a school building. Everyone outside is gasping because of how young she is. Once inside, we get to see that there's a test being underway. She finishes first, and as soon as she's done, she leaves outside the school. Once outside, we get to overhear that her goal is to pass university within 2 years, as well as the teacher tests her paper, and it turns out she got a 100%. The teacher was shocked. That's where we cut into the opening. Once we resume, it seems that it is the day of the graduation for the girl. And please excuse me, this is her name. It is Layu Yoi. I'm probably wrong. During this graduation, this is where she gives a speech. Something else I'd like to add is Liu is also the youngest genius in the school's history. Now, while she's giving this speech, this is where we get to know she doesn't want to be known as a genius, rather a hero. While she's saying that, we get to see that there's people out there laughing at her. Liu continues to go on. This is where we get to hear her in-game goal is to become the hero known as the X, which is the hero of all the heroes. Many people are watching this and also overhearing this, including the director, who thinks she'll cause an uprising of many other female heroes. So if you couldn't have guessed, her speech ends up going viral, which indeed does cause an uprising of female heroes, including one called Boa. Now there's like a little bit of a speed up thing going on, but we get to see that there's this 16th hero ranking tournament going on. The matchup being Boa, the new female hero, versus Extro, last year's X. Boa wields a transforming axe, while Extro seems to have Superman-like powers, including flying. While the ranking tournament is underway, we get to see Liu save a woman from a sludge zombie monster. Her power seems to be some type of force levitation shield. Now we get panned back to the ranking tournament. This is where we get to see Boa ends up being the winner. Immediately afterwards, we're thrown into a meeting with the director and the two girls, Liu and Boa. Shockingly, though, during this meeting, we find out that both of them are sisters. Now, the reason for this meeting is that the director wants Boa to give up her spot as X to Liu because of the movement that she started. After it seems the director was insisting this is where Liu says she wants to do it the fair way, and both sisters begin to give out. That's where we run into both the sisters arguing, and things begin to get a little physical. Boa is about to use her power, but Liu kind of succumbs her and makes her fall down physically. Liu still having her in hold, not really paying attention. Some guy comes out of nowhere and he starts yelling about this pet, Big Johnny, and well, both sisters sort of get distracted and they snap out of it. Everything's just fine now. Boa goes ahead and she just leaves after that. Liu stays behind and she ends up talking to the boy. Now, it's more like a force because she was forced to look towards this pet. And whenever she starts talking to the boy, she finds out that he is the 15th hero in the rankings, and his name is Little Johnny, and that pet is actually his son, which I think is just insane. Now, my belief with Little Johnny is that he uses this Big Johnny as some sort of cuteness lock-on, and he may attack. Don't really know just yet. Liu unwinds quite a bit here, and she ends up getting invited to pet Big Johnny, which goes into Little Johnny being like, hey, why don't you come to our room on the Hero Tower? Now the hanging out ends up being Liu just watching the news while the other two Johnnies chase each other around in a circle around the couch. That's where Big Johnny ends up hitting the remote and plays a familiar face, Lucky Scion. Pretty much as soon as they see this, they end up going in the Hero Tower to greet Lucky Scion. And it was really cool seeing the three of them get along really well. There is something weird happening. Boa from quite a distance is watching the three of them talk. Boa, clearly having a phone in her hand, says, I'll leave the investigation to you. And it seems as soon as that happens, we're thrown into the 18th tournament ranking battle, which is about to begin. We get to the introduction. This is where we get to see its queen, aka Liu's hero name. But instead of versing her sister, it turns out to be this random man. At this point, Liu is just very confused. The battle begins, and as soon as it begins, she's already lied on her back, which it turns out to be her big defeat. And we get to see her at home watching the news. And that same man, he burst everyone and defeated them instantly. Now, Mickey does get a call from the director, and this is where he finds out that neither does he know who this man is or where he's even from. For our big finale, we get to see Boa in some sort of abandoned, dark, grimy place, and she's watching this comedian make fun of her sister. This is where she murmurs these words: "So that is your daughter." I actually wasn't expecting this character to get any screen time besides what we've seen so far, but this is before Lucky Scion, and it's kind of like the inspiration for a lot of the women in this universe, so I'm kind of glad that they're giving it some type of lore. Now, I do have an interest in this futuristic type of guy that's defeating everyone in, like, I don't know, one punch or one power. That's pretty insane. The whole thing with Boa and who is the real father of Leu. I'm expecting something pretty crazy. These flashbacks are pretty easy to tell. I didn't really put too much into it until I noticed that everyone's saying, oh, if it's 2D, then it's in the past. If it's 3D, that's the future. So my guess is eventually we'll go back to the future and hopefully maybe resume things. I think right now we're just getting a bigger picture. Still, if I had to rate the series, as far as this episode and everything behind us, I'm gonna say a 9. It's just fun to watch, and I am excited every time I put this on. Tell me what your guys' thoughts are about To Be Your Hero X episode 11. Hope you stay safe. Until next time, guys, peace out.